So we've had Spider-Man 2 PlayStation 5 spoilers, mainstream media pitting Starfield against Cyberpunk 2077, and as a consequence, so too now are the fanboys. And we also have PlayStation admitting almost 7,000 past/present employees' personal information was compromised in a recent Sony Corp data breach. And Microsoft Xbox division expects to finalize the Activision merger by next week. It's all coming to a close. And Sony has an interesting addition to its PlayStation Plus premium tier service, TV. And not forgetting CD Projekt Red with a massive, gargantuan success on its hands with Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, if the very impressive sales are anything to go by, with one platform in particular making up for the larger bulk of sales. Some pretty interesting stuff there, and much more right after this. Welcome back to another Foxy Games UK news video. If you like the work I do here, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit notification, follow Foxy Games UK via X, Twitter at FoxyGames_UK for more informative gaming news, rumour, opinion and gameplay. All applicable links are available in this video's description. So in our first news item, yes, Forza Motorsport versus Gran Turismo 7. It had to happen, didn't it? Not only is Digital Foundry taking flack for not servicing the demand for an in-depth Forza Motorsport vs Gran Turismo 7 head-to-head, but unfortunately the console fanboy ammo seekers will have to wait until November, as Digital Foundry are busy with other projects. Also, there's a whole entire thread with eagle-eyed gamers bemoaning that Forza Motorsport is reusing some of its car assets from the 14-year-old Forza Motorsport 3, which was released back on the Xbox 360. There's also complaints about Forza Motorsport not being fleshed out enough, with car parts locked behind every single vehicle. Therefore, you'll be starting from scratch every time you receive an upgraded car. Now, PC gamers are also unhappy with the one-size-fits-all ray tracing options. Some even claim that Forza Motorsport has been downgraded from those initial trailers, even on a super capable PC. IGN is also under fire for its poor Forza Motorsport footage used in a Forza Motorsport GT7 comparison video, which was quickly replaced with an apology. Now, the problem, I dare say, the problem with a lot of the complaints and comparisons you'll see via the quote-unquote professional gaming media and game enthusiast YouTube channels, yes, the independents, is the fuzzy grey line between fanboyism and the bias toward a particular platform. I mean, is IGN anti-Xbox? I don't believe so, but the many mistakes and errors it has made with Xbox content has understandably a lot of people rubbed up the wrong way and feeling a bit suspect about IGN. At the very least, I think perhaps IGN is not taking its Xbox content quite as seriously as it does other platforms such as Nintendo and PlayStation. And also, some people are just simply incapable of enjoying games like Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty without shitting on games like Starfield, in much the same way people are incapable of enjoying or appreciating Forza Motorsport without shitting on Gran Turismo 7, and vice versa. Incapable. Now, I wonder what bullshit awaits Spider-Man 2 as it nears closer to its release. We've already had attempts of spoilers by unscrupulous, pathetic gamers, or are they gamers? But honestly, this tit-for-tat nonsense, I'll spoil yours if you spoil mine, I'll trash yours if you trash mine, is just totally pathetic. I mean, if this is how you play, are you really enjoying what you claim to love, which is gaming? Personally, I have played a ton of Gran Turismo 7, also in PlayStation VR 2, and it's phenomenal. I haven't yet had experience with the new Forza Motorsport game, so I'll hold off for now on my opinion. I mean, you can't form an opinion if you haven't played it, right? Though, having consumed tons of Forza Motorsport impressions and reviews from quote-unquote proper car enthusiast YouTube gaming channels, the general consensus seems to be that Though Forza Motorsport is good or sometimes great, it just doesn't quite match up to Gran Turismo 7 in its current form. Though I would argue that Forza Motorsport is a service-driven game now, so no doubt a lot of changes for the better will be applied, as well as additional tracks and cars, with some graphical improvements perhaps on console, but most definitely on PC over time. Now, I have Forza Motorsport pre-downloaded on my Xbox Series X via Game Pass, though in just 4 days I'll be able to decide for myself which of these AAA track races is more my thing. Ray tracing in replays, car showrooms or vistas, and in Forza Motorsport's case, ray tracing in-game is nice, but ultimately it will come down to car AI and handling for me. I think to truly enjoy gaming, we've just got to stop building up other games by trashing other games down mentality and learn to appreciate games based on individual merit and not foolish console warrior comparison nonsense. Though let me know your opinion in the video comments. And in other news, this time courtesy of videogameschronicle.com, link in the description, Microsoft is reportedly set to finalize its acquisition of Activision Blizzard next week. That's according to a source speaking to TheVerge.com. The Xbox company is looking at Friday, October 13 as the potential closing date for the whopping $68.7 billion deal. The deal still depends on a final decision being made by the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, which is the last major roadblock to the deal closing, but I think the FTC are doing their own thing as well there. Now, the CMA announced last month that it had provisionally agreed to allow the deal following changes to the terms. It then opened a consultation, and the deadline for which ends, well, today, after which it will make a final decision. The decision is expected next week and is expected to rule in Microsoft's favor, meaning it will finally be free to complete the deal and acquire Activision Blizzard King. The CMA initially blocked the acquisition in April due to concerns about its impact on the nascent cloud gaming market. Microsoft attempted to restructure its proposed acquisition by agreeing to sell cloud streaming rights to Ubisoft, leading the CMA to launch a new merger inquiry. This move was seemingly enough to satisfy the CMA, which posted a new provisional decision in September, saying it was now happy with the terms of the deal. But the FTC is still playing silly buggers with the deal, so even though the CMA once thought to be the major hurdle in this case, now, well, the FTC just won't lie down, will they? But there you have it. It looks like by Friday of next week, October 13, we should all know, and thank goodness, an end to this madness that is the Xbox-Activision merger. So, moving on to TechRaptor.net, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty has done exceptionally well, selling 3 million copies, mostly on PC, followed by PS5 and Xbox. So during its Investor Day livestream, Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt provided some interesting data about the success of the Phantom Liberty expansion. The studio's executives shared during the broadcast that 3 million units of the expansion had been sold during the first week until October 3rd. CD Projekt estimates that about 20 million gamers have the game on PC and current-gen consoles. This means that 15% of those who could buy the expansion did so in the first week. This is considered phenomenal and a great result. We also get a look at a breakdown of Phantom Liberty sales by platform. PC achieved the lion's share with a whopping 68% of sales, while PlayStation 5 followed with 20% and Xbox Series X and S trailed a bit behind with 13% of sales. CD Projekt expects sales to continue for a long time for both the game and the expansion. At the peak of development, CD Projekt Red had 360 developers working on the expansion, while 3,600 people worked on it in some capacity during the whole development cycle. In terms of budget, Phantom Liberty cost 275 million PLN. That's almost 63 million US dollars to make, and 95 million Polish at approximately 22 million to market. That being said, this is an estimate because some of the costs are still being calculated. The total budget to make the original Cyberpunk 2077 is estimated at 178 million PLN, which basically means that the total cumulative budget, counting the main game and expansion, is 453 million PLN, which translates into approximately 104 million US dollars. Incidentally, the numbers mean that the cumulative sales of Cyberpunk 2077 and the Witcher franchises are now over 100 million copies. Congratulations to CD Projekt Red, they really turned the game around, and which could have been disastrous. And in our final news segment, again, VideoGamesChronicle.com, PlayStation has confirmed the data breach exposed 7,000 employees' personal information. The company has been contacting those affected by the unauthorized access. So, Sony Interactive Entertainment has confirmed that around 6,800 current and former employees have had their personal information exposed. As reported by Bleeping Computer, interesting name, the PlayStation maker has been contacting those affected and letting them know what happened. According to Sony, the breach involved a Move It file transfer platform used by Sony Interactive Entertainment employees, which is developed by third-party IT vendor Progress Software. Not much progress there. Progress announced on May 31st that it had discovered a vulnerability in Move It, but 3 days before this, an unauthorized actor had already used the vulnerability to download Sony Interactive Entertainment files accessing personal information for around 6,791 current and former Sony Interactive Entertainment employees based in the United States. So everyone in Europe and elsewhere in the world are safe, but not so much for the United States, and this is really a terrible breach. Sony claims the incident was limited to this particular software platform and had no impact on its other systems, which is, I suppose, is saying something, because it could have been far worse. Now on June 2nd, 2023, Sony Interactive Entertainment discovered the unauthorized downloads, immediately took the platform offline and fixed the vulnerability. Sony says in a letter sent to the former employees whose data was accessed, an investigation was then launched with assistance from external cybersecurity experts who also notified law enforcement. Now listen, this could have been so much worse. Imagine all your banking details, debit card details, credit card details, your address, your name, your date of birth, everything about you. We're so lucky that it didn't affect customers. I know it's terrible that it affected past, present, and employees, but it could have been far worse for Sony. A big disaster going right back to, remember the PS3 era? Goodness me, who could forget? In 2011, Sony PlayStation Network suffered that massive breach that resulted in the personal details of approximately 77 million accounts being compromised and the service being taken offline for approximately 23 days. Sony initially estimated the hack would cost them more than 100 million, and it was forced to apologize not just to us players, but developers whose game launches were disrupted or those online services were left unavailable. They gave out a few games, but yeah, not nice, guys. Not nice for something like this to happen. Though, that's your news. What say you? Let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments. That brings us to the end of the video. But just like, subscribe, hit notification, comment regularly on videos, and you can help Foxy Games UK reach more gamers. Feel free to share the video. You may also wish to consider supporting Foxy Games via Patreon because, well, we're like family now. Link in the description. That concludes our time together today. Until next time, consumers first. Play games, not corporations.